looks as if he's done what he set out to do, which is to snooker Maguire on the red nearest the baulk line. If he hadn't done that, it would have been an easy safety to the baulk cushion. But what he did leave was that long straightish pot. And having come to the table already 30 in front, this is a good chance for Maguire to close out this opening frame. Yes, the blue is just off straight the wrong side. And now he's overrun his position from the brown.
He knew, didn't he, as soon as he hit that ball, that it was going drifting too far. Hang on a minute, has he got a pot on it at all? He maybe can still get to the edge of this. Is he playing with a touch of swerve? Maybe he can pot this after all. There was just enough sticking out.
6.
Yes, it didn't look as if there was from our commentary position, but his position, that's all that mattered.
Eight. Nine.
And the blue would put him 44 in front with only 43 left.
Selby will carry on if Maguire doesn't pot this red. Only one snooker.
Yeah, not a bad idea for Maguire to move this red from the black, because if Selby were to get the other red and that red was still by the black, that would be a great
Maguire,
chance
14.
to lay the snooker he needed.
Well, he doesn't want the snooker, but it's a good shot from Maguire.
One thing Selby didn't want to do there, he didn't want to move the red next to the brown, because that's a good potential snookering ball if he can get red colour and then lay the snooker from the other red behind the brown. But now that Maguire has moved that red, that option is no longer available to him. Well, that would have signalled end of frame if that had gone in.
One.
Well, it won't be easy to get a snooker on that last red. I know he's got the option to double the red up and down, but you wouldn't think that would be a difficult enough snooker. Someone like Maguire to miss. And finishing there, he's not got a very good shot at all to get a snooker, actually.
8.
If you can't get a snooker, make sure you get the red safe.
Mark Selby, 8.
And that is it.
Conceded frame, Stephen Maguire.
So a 27-minute opening frame, but Stephen Maguire has won it to lead by a frame to nil.
Welcome back to Coventry for the concluding match in Group 2 of the Champion of Champions tournament. It's Mark Selby against Stephen Maguire. Maguire has taken the opening frame in this best-of-11 match, but Selby is at the table in the second, building on a sizable break.
28.
And this is how he often wins frames. He may not have been at his very best, but he just chips away, keeping his opponent out. Taking what's there, not necessarily always making big breaks. Just chipping away at Maguire.
34.
That was the way that he won his match this afternoon against Sean Murphy.
35.
He is a terrific competitor. The number of matches he's won from well behind will tell you that.
$40.
Just a red and a colour needed then.
$41.
Wow, that was quite interesting.
41.
I didn't expect him to miss it, but the blue was a certainty, and had he potted it, Maguire would have needed a couple of snookers. As it is, though, it's a big ask for Maguire. 59 behind with only 59 on.
With the black at the wrong end of the table to start with. That must have been a bad contact. He's got to play the black. Oddly enough, it takes him down around towards the reds if he gets it, but he could miss this. If this doesn't go in, I suspect he'll concede the frame, probably almost without Selby coming back to the table. So this has to drop in. It's a very good shot. And the cue ball was played beautifully. Well, it would be a great effort to clear up here and tie them at the frame.
What's your view, Neil, on Selby's choice of shot, playing the pink instead of the blue?
Yeah, I can understand why, because, like you say, 2 snookers it would have been guaranteed, but I suppose he thought he'd just pot the red after it comfortably. The pink was, as you saw, missable. The blue, he would never have missed the blue. So in hindsight, without a doubt, it seems to have been the wrong choice. There are lots of reasons why this would be very difficult, because he's got to take blacks with these 2 reds, and to get from the last black up to the yellow that only goes into the right top pocket would be a difficult shot. That's not his concern just yet. Needs to be high on this so that he can just drop through for the next red.
$24.
And that was the point I was making, Clive. This now looks a difficult shot. How does he get from this black to the yellow? It'll be a very good positional shot if he can do it. I think he might be looking at running this through and getting through across to pop the yellow into that right pocket. If he played this shot, it would have to be inch perfect. Oh, I can see what he's tried. He hasn't hit it, I don't think. It's a good effort. If he'd have potted that cleanly, which he didn't, I reckon
32.
he would have got there. But he's still in the frame, there's no doubt about that, because you've got first safety shot here.
Stephen Maguire, 32.
No, he hasn't done as well as he could have with that.
So Maguire got his 4 blacks from the last 4 reds. The yellow couldn't be easier to hit, but he's got to get it safe.
Well, he might just have a pop at this one for the frame, or certainly to leave Steve Maguire wanting a snooker.
Well, there's a possibility here for Maguire. Preferred to wait for a better opportunity. Right or wrong, Neil?
I thought he'd go for it, but he probably didn't see a way of getting onto the green ball very comfortably. That's a good shot now. It seems the wrong shot after that, doesn't it? He's in a lot of trouble now. That's where keep saying it, but that's where Selby is very good. He's put Steve Maguire in a lot of trouble when it didn't seem likely that he would be. And it's one in the frame, eyeing something like extraordinary from here.
Two.
Well, Selby's a very experienced campaigner. He didn't allow it to upset him that he missed an easy ball that would have left
Mark Selby, 2.
Maguire needing a snooker. Although he certainly could have done with potting that green in addition to the yellow, because had he done so, Maguire would have needed more than one snooker.
3.
Yeah, and it was a bit like earlier on. I think if the green had have gone into the middle there, and Maguire would have conceded, but he played it to hold so they could get onto the brown, which he didn't really have to do, I don't think. That's nowhere near for Maguire. It's dangerous, this situation.
Stephen Maguire,
Selby, when he
3.
should have won the frame, because he won snooker away from being in a lot of trouble if you're the man with this lead.
It would certainly be.
Foul.
I was about to say a major
Mark Selby, 4
reversal
on the frame.
if Maguire were to win this frame, but he's gone in off, and so the frame has gone to Selby. After 51 minutes play, the score is 1-all.
Welcome back to the Champion of Champions tournament. Its final match in Group 2, Mark Selby and Stephen Maguire playing for a place in the next round. It's the best of 11 frames, all level through the opening 2. This is now the third. The early exchanges have been dominated by safety play. Maguire at the table.
One.
Problem he's got now, if he plays a bulk colour, he's got a red up there. Maybe
Green
that
ball.
if he hits the green full on, I wonder, does he stick the red in the middle? If he hits it anything else but that, he might be all right. Yeah, that's okay. He's hitting it
Stephen Maguire, 1.
side on slightly, means he hasn't left the red on.
Well, that's a bit more like it from Selby.
Don't know that he can get onto the red that he's now looking at. If he could and clear the black, it would be very helpful, but it looks like the red is slightly across the front of the black there, as if it might not be a possibility. He's given it a look. There might be one little spot on the table where he could pot that. Other than that, he might go into them here. That was a good split. It's very well played. The cue ball's at the clue there. It hasn't really
6.
wavered from the middle of the table.
The secret of that shot is catching the pink or the apex ball smack on the nose. Stephen Hendry was the
7.
first to realise the potential of that sort of shot in a systematic way.
Twelve. 13. 18. 19. 25. 26.
'Well, certainly the good split of the Reds a few shots back has left a lot in the middle of the table and fairly well spread out.
32.
And it's become an excellent chance now, despite the black not really being in play.
$33. 39. 40.
'Nice little nudge. Huebel's not travelling very far in this break. He's keeping it under good control, using the cushions very
46.
much.
$47. 53.
Closing in on a 2-1 lead.
Cuban. 54. 60.
Just this red would leave Maguire needing a snooker.
61.
Well, you can see that the black's not been involved. He's taken high value colours, but it's never that straightforward. 7 pinks and 3 blues.
67.
And the black is out of play, and that red's been next to it throughout the break. So he's made these very, very nicely.
68.
And you feel he's starting to really get into his game now. He didn't settle very quickly into this final. As Clive said, it is actually technically a quarter-final, but it's today's final, which brings him through into the last
73.
4 at the weekend if he wins, whoever wins.
$74.
It's a thin one it leaves him. He won't mind if he doesn't go on and make a century here, I don't think. But he might be able to do so now.
80.
Well, Maguire doesn't care whether he does or not at the moment. It's the next frame he's thinking about.
86. $87.
A couple of years ago, Selby set a record for most centuries in a season, 55. Judd Trump made 61 last season.
93.
And Neil Robertson is already up to 44 this season.
95.
So there's some material for the statos amongst you.
Yes, and I think what you're really saying is that Judd Trump's
98.
record is likely to be beaten at some point. It'd be a surprise if Neil Robertson didn't go on and make another 18 centuries. The rate has been knocking them in lately. And there's one from Mark Selby, who, like many players, is one of the very heavy scorers around. It's been a nicely constructed break, this one. When it started, it didn't look in
107.
particularly good rhythm, but you know, the cue ball control has been excellent.
113.
So the 310th century of Mark Selby's career. One of
Mark Selby 113 on the
of
front.
113 gives him a 2-1 lead.
Welcome back to the Champion of Champions tournament. It's the final match in Group 2, featuring Mark Selby and Stephen Maguire. In this best-of-11 frame match, Selby has edged ahead and is at the table in the 4th, building on a break.
But you have to take them and try and win the frame from a piece of good fortune, because I think you always feel that your opponents never feel that guilty of
21.
taking it. Still needs a bit more. Indeed 6 reds on the table, so 75 is available. But this is a very healthy advantage of 41 points here.
Mark Selby, 21.
This afternoon's best of sevens were played straight through with no interval, but there is a mid-session interval coming up in this best of 11 after this frame.
Well, Selby will certainly look at this long red, but I think he knows there is a chance of the cue ball going either into the two reds. He might be able to find a gap. He wouldn't want to crash into those because he's not safe yet and the putt's not a certainty. And he's avoided that. That's well played.
Yes, it was a natural angle between the black and the two reds.
Touching ball. Nominate your colour, please, ma'am.
And he's got to nominate his colour, which I'm sure, if no pot is on, will be the green. Because he is touching that green itself. What's he going to come up with here? Well, he'd quite like to get a colour safe if he could, leading by 42 points.
Green ball.
Well, hopefully the green won't move, and it didn't, otherwise it would
Mark
have been a
Selby,
foul
1.
stroke. Well, very much favoured in the frame where the balls are and with his advantage.
Very, very awkward cueing for the reds. He can hit direct.
Yeah, it's a real grimace from Stephen Maguire. Doesn't really have many options here.
Well, it wasn't quite as awkward as I thought.
I suppose he was always worried that he's leaving a red close to the pocket and he may stick it, but he hasn't.
Well, he got two potential snookering balls in the brown and the yellow.
Foul. Stephen Maguire, 4.
Well, it looked like an in-off, and it was. Don't know how much of a difference it'll make. It does mean that when the cue ball is put back on the table, Maguire's in hand. Is he going to go on the offensive here? Is there anything he can see to start a break? Okay, we know he's behind. The reds aren't impossibly placed. The colours are near their spots or on them. He's playing a safety shot. Can still turn this frame around.
Foul. And a miss.
Past the
Stephen
outside
Maguire
edge.
full.
That safety from Maguire has opened up the pink by dislodging the red from it.
Yes, and it's made it a very dangerous table now, with Selby's lead not that important. Should Maguire get another chance, could easily clear up. Now he's taking that red just behind the black, right in line with it from our commentary position. He's called it too thick. Now then, potential turning point here. It's been all Selby for 2.5 frames, but that man could clear up from here and make it 2-2.
One.
Not great.
Yeah, didn't want to go pink to the middle, but now he has no choice. I'd be very surprised if he did play the blue. It's a difficult pot, and he can't get that into a red. I suppose he's a little bit concerned about where the cue ball ends up here. He can only play it naturally, can't play it with many screw or stun. So he's got the pot, and where has he finished? Well, not perfectly, but he's got a shot on the red.
7. Eight.
Well, that's got him right back in. It really has. Now you immediately look at the red below the black and think perhaps that's the ball that will either win or lose the frame. I'm sure it'll be the
13.
last red available.
14.
Well, he's actually taken it this time, would you believe? Surprises me, and he's got a
20.
slight angle on this. Maybe he thought that was as good a chance as any. This is a missable shot.
Twenty-one.
Well, at least he played it very slowly. He always gives the pocket a chance. Seemed to be a frame that Selby was dominating. in his usual way, just going about his business quietly. Got to the century in the previous
28.
frame, he'd had a couple of chances. He's kind of been turned around in the last half a dozen shots.
$29.
Played round for choice of blue or bought colours, because clearing the colours that he needs is thereby made easier than it possibly would have been if he'd held for black.
Don't think this cue ball's going to be travelling all that far once it's gone past the green. Somewhere in there will do for the yellow. That's a good shot.
$32. $34. $37.
Brown, blue, pink still needed.
$41.
Selby appeared to be heading for a 3-1 lead.
$46.
But Maguire, with a 52 clearance to rid on the pink, takes the frame and levels the match at 2-all at the mid-session interval.
Wasn't that well played, but he's got a shot at the blue.
Fractionally overcut it though.
31.
Which is a bit of a surprise, because I think he had to hit it quite straight on to screw back onto the red below the black. So I'm surprised he overcut it. So he'd miss it on the other side, if at all. Now there's a shot on the green, if he plays at pace, to go into the pack of reds. He's not certainty to play it, but I think the angle is there. Plays this with pace, he could split them open. That's a good shot, he deserves to be on one.
$4.
I think Maguire is slightly the more fluent of the two players when he's somewhere near his best. He had little patches of play against John Higgins this afternoon where he looked very good.
$12. $13.
a well-judged shot. Stun run through, off the cushion, pace judged to
20.
perfection. Kick, I'm afraid.
21.
Haven't seen that many today. There's been one or two. Stop the cue ball dead, that one. It's one of them that the sound was more obvious, I think, than the jump, but it definitely kicked. He leapt up on the shot. Sounded very tinny.
Twenty-six. $27.
All right, I think.
Yeah, it was dangerous though, the way he played it.
34.
Just brush into that red, but he's on it, all right. Just get through to the other one.
35.
Just signs that he's really buckling down, as Alan McManus has pointed out, that he did seem a little bit jaded at the start of the match. 2 matches in fairly quick succession. We're not saying it's like going down a coal mine, we're just saying that it takes a bit out of you mentally to start a new match just after playing a previous one.
41.
I think he's just getting into it now.
42.
Now, just having a look at how many reds he'll need after the next one. This will make him 48 in front. And he wasn't certain as to whether he would need to break the reds up. It's actually worked out quite well, that. Still
49.
plenty on 83. That'll go down by 8 every time he pots a ball. A red, rather. So, the two might meet somewhere very soon. Difference in remaining.
$50. $57.
Almost
58.
very unlucky.
Yeah, it looked on its way, didn't it, that one? Pleased it never went in, and he isn't perfectly on the blue, but it would have been a real drag if that had gone in the middle pocket. And then the break there. Just a red in the colour after this blue drops in, and they'll be safe. In fact, just a red will do. It'll make it a difference of 59
63.
points anyhow. So he's on the brink of going behind. He lost the first frame. Then he started to take over the match. That went straight into the middle of the pocket. Good shot.
64.
Once Maguire gets into a break, he looks very solid, doesn't he, Neil?
No, he's a very nice player in
70.
amongst them. And usually the breaks that he makes are quite neat breaks. He doesn't often struggle with position. Stays at the important end of the table
71.
for most of it. And when he gets into a real zone of concentration, he can be almost unstoppable at times. It doesn't happen all the time with Maguire, unfortunately. He's not the most consistent, but just when he has a bit of purple patch of
76.
form, terrific player. Not quite there yet, but he's playing well. Break will end here,
77.
but he'll be delighted to be back in front.
Stephen Maguire 77 and the frame.
Stephen Maguire trailed 2-1 with a clearance to the pink of 52, made it 2-all, and that break of 77 puts them in front by 3 frames to 2.
Welcome back to Coventry for the concluding match in Group 2 of the Champion of Champions tournament. It's Mark Selby against Stephen Maguire. Maguire has just taken a narrow lead in this best-of-11 match as we now pick up the action at the start of the 6th, which so far has been dominated by safety play.
Well, missed that, I think, because he was trying to hold the cue balls straight for pink to middle, but it was a surprising miss.
Yeah, Maguire giving it a bit of a cue bang, which he's no stranger to doing that. Frustrations of the game at times, and especially now he's left that on. Oh, it's amazing how Selby's in first this frame, because he has actually made about 3 errors, which he's not been punished for. If he's on it, he's only just got there. Just gone far enough to get past the blue. Must be tight though. I was thinking that he's had a second look at it. And it's almost as if he played to get on the blue as if it was on his own spot, because now he's wrong side of it.
$14.
Well, he didn't like the shot. He got up once from it, but he played it very confidently in the end.
$21. 22.
but not above the blue.
No, quite a few times he's done that during the course of this match, so he's got enough angle to go through baulk though. He'll play this at pace. Back down towards the reds. Yeah, this is pretty well controlled. I'd like to have been straighter on the red, I will say.
The cannon on the back was quite deliberate.
We check to see what goes to the right corner after this. He's planning just to drop it in. That's all right. That's if the red goes, which I think he's checked to see if it does. Left-hand red of the 5.
35.
Just certainly squeezes through there. And once again, not getting
36.
there with the cue ball every time. And that's why this break has turned into a real struggle.
$41.
Such a good shot
42.
that. Really got into the cue ball. Very well played. Couldn't afford to be too low because wouldn't have been on the black then, but there's never any danger of that the way he played it.
$49. $50. $57. $58.
Poised now to level the match at 3-all.
$63.
Yeah, I think it's been an excellent break. He struggled sometimes because he got the wrong side of the blue, and when the break started he didn't feel he had any real rhythm about his game, but he's just built himself up to this as the break's gone on.
$71.
The frame is his. So it's got the makings of a very close match, which will soon become a best of 5
$72.
from here on in.
79. 80.
Can cannon the near red and leave himself on the other one.
$87. 88.
Strange, isn't it? Because you don't feel in your heart that Selby's played at his best in this match, but looks like he's about to make his second century of the match.
95.
To go along with his 113 in the third frame.
96. 103. Mark Selby, 103 on the frame.
And that break of 103 from Mark Selby, very calm, very assured, enables him to equalise at 3-all.
Welcome back to the Champion of Champions tournament. Its final match in Group 2. Mark Selby and Stephen Maguire playing for a place in the next round. It's the best of 11 frames, all level through the opening 6. The 7th hinged on a mistake by Maguire. Selby stepped in to clear up and move into a single frame lead. This is now the 8th. Maguire with a break of 16 and at the table.
They do have to solve some problems, these top players, in these high quality safety exchanges.
Yes, the problem was getting past the blue, amongst other things. More frustration for Stephen Maguire. This is a half-decent chance. There's a few reds in fairly awkward places, but Selby will smell blood here to chance to get to a 5-3 lead. And, a sign that he would be looking up by far the stronger player of the two, not only on the table but mentally. So this is a big moment for him if he can get clear daylight. Didn't play to go into the green. It doesn't matter that much.
Six. Seven.
It kind of gave the impression that he didn't play on the black there. I don't know if that's right or not, but he's on it fine.
$14.
I don't think he has to worry very much about the three reds on the right of the table, not those three. because he's just going to knock this top one in. But the other three reds on the right, as we
15.
look there, they're tying each other up, but he could get enough points without those, I feel, to make the frame safe by then. He's looking at one now. That one would pop, perhaps the right-hand red. He's got so many on.
$80. $19. $25.
Certainly plenty of signs that Selby is coming back to something like his best form. Very slow start to the new season. A couple of his results were very surprising in qualifiers, which he lost
36.
to players that I would never imagine him losing to. But as the season's gone on, he looks better and better.
$33. $34.
I think those losses show that the not-so-goods, the relative unknowns, are pretty good players. Andrew Paget of Wales and Vinnie Calabrese of Australia have both beaten Selby this season.
41.
Yeah, Paget, of course, had played at the Crucible Theatre before. But Selby would have been a warm favourite in both of those matches. But signs that his game is really coming together. And this is a good time with the section of the season moving over to the UK now, with this event here at
42.
Coventry, what big prize. UK Championship a couple of weeks away also. The worst times to hit good form than this.
Title defences coming up for Selby, both in the UK Championship and the
49.
Masters.
Yes, that was a golden spell formed just either side of last Christmas. I always go back to the final of the Masters where he played Neil Robertson, who'd been knocking in breaks all week, playing brilliantly. And Selby had struggled. He finished his semi-final late on the Saturday night, and everything pointed to Robertson winning.
50.
All form that you could think of made him the winner, but Selby came out, had a good night's sleep and played brilliantly in the final. He's getting to the point now where
55.
his lead is building all the time. He's up to 39 points with 5 reds on, so he will need something of those 3 reds, and he's already looked to see that the right-hand red will go.
56.
You're happy to leave the other 2 there for now, because if you get a red and a colour here after this pink, then he's won the frame. Just about see
62.
enough of that, I think, to make it potable.
Extended, yeah.
Can he reach this one? He might be able to reach that. It's about as far as he could go across the table. Might not be able to get off the table after he's played the shot, though.
So here, red plus colour equals a 5-3 lead, barring snookers.
He's had 2 or 3 looks at this red as to whether he can get to see enough of it. I reckon he just about can. It's tight. Oh, you see it. He gets as near to hitting that red on the left of it without doing so. I think that this will pot. Struck it well.
63.
Yeah, I mean, as Clive said, if he knocked in the blue here, it would be frame ball barring snookers, but he'd be much happier to get the following red. It really would secure the frame.
.52 in front, only 51 on.
Yeah, a lot of concentration has gone into this
68.
break, Clive, because it's not been straightforward.
Maguire lost control of this frame when early on he made 16 but left himself too straight on a red, missed it trying to force it. Selby has now picked out the
69.
plant, and I venture to suggest he's over the line for a 5-3 lead.
He's worked very, very hard to get it as well. Trailed 3-2, 103, break 77.
74.
Now this 74 and maybe more to come. Already made a century in frame 3. He's not felt like he's played out of his skin, but he's not missed very many at all. And he could knock in another 100 break here.
Well, very often it's not your best standard that counts, but your usual standard. And if this is Selby's ordinary standard, it's pretty good.
82. '83.
Well, he's got the angle now to screw to the left of the pink. In fact, he might be playing it the other side, but he's got a natural angle to get round for the yellow. This is a beautiful break. Didn't really see it as a likely
90.
century when he got there. I thought he could make 50, maybe 60 out of where the balls were.
92.
Because Selby is not flamboyant, he is often underrated, but he shouldn't be.
95.
Yes, he's certainly moved up a gear. Didn't settle particularly well, but as the match has gone on, he started to play very well indeed.
99.
This is high-class snooker.
$104. $110.
Mark Selby was 3-2 down, but through breaks of 103, 77 and 117, he has gone 2 up with 3 to play with a 5-3 lead.
Welcome back to the Champion of Champions tournament. It's the final match in Group 2, featuring Mark Selby and Stephen Maguire. In this best-of-11 frame match, Selby is just a frame away from the win. He leads 5-3 as we pick up the action in the 9th.
Right into the left corner that he's playing. Oh, what a great shot. As he found that one. Must admit, it wasn't, you look at the table and you wouldn't really think that he would be going for that red. A, that it might not be able to go, and B, it was an awkward one. He's got the advantage back, hasn't he, by that shot?
Yes, look how he was running the cue ball behind yellow and pink. In case he missed it. And now he set Maguire a problem.
That's always very annoying. He's got very close to that. It was a great effort, actually. But choice of going back, or in the case of Mark Selby, might be interested in this red to the middle. Now he's having it back. I think he feels that even if there is contact made this time, there's every chance he'll still be on that red in the middle anyhow. Sure what that was all about. A little friendly bit of banter.
Does that look? Come on.
Doesn't mind a little chat, does he? Mark Selby in a match. Oh, isn't that strange? He's missed that by a mile.
Foul.
He got so close to the first effort.
Mark Selby 4. Okay.
That was strange. That was an absolute mile off. And this is not much better.
Foul.
Now, what happened to the line,
Mark
Clive, that he had
Selby
on the first shot? Because it was an excellent shot. He was just unluckily short. He seems to have lost that direction completely.
Sure has. He's given 12 away from this snooker.
Okay.
I think he's lost his composure. I think he's going to play hit and hope here. No, he's giving it one more. I think he got down very quickly in the way only Stephen can. Well, at least he's hit one. Well, he's not bad. I just had a funny feeling he was going to launch at that one. If he had done, I think I would have understood completely how he's feeling. Started to get a little bit frustrating this match, hasn't it, for him? Selby, though, just keeps going, doesn't he? Knocking in all those quite difficult shots, carving out chances to score.
Grinding his way into a position to take frame and match.
Yeah, and very much playing the table and not the opponent. Had a win over O'Sullivan at the weekend. He's got a fairly good record against him over the years, actually, Ronnie O'Sullivan. And not many people can say that, because O'Sullivan clearly intimidates players who he's up against, in that he's just got so much more natural talent than all of them. I think everyone would say that he's the most talented around, and it can be intimidating, but I don't think Selby lets that get into his own head.
Steve Davis remarked in that context that Ronnie makes everybody else feel like a cart horse.
Yeah, and, there have been players over the years playing against Jimmy White used to often make you feel very similar when he was in his absolute prime. But sometimes you have to remember these guys are beatable. And, as I say, it's all about playing what's in front of you
13.
and not worrying about who's sitting in the chair opposite you. Not always easy to do.
$14.
In the last 3.5 frames, Selby has scarcely given Maguire a sniff. Ruthless, effective match play.
And that's another excellent shot. This match started a little bit on the shaky side for both players. Both players missed quite a few in the first couple of frames. But things have improved, and that stat tells you 92% Selby's up to, and he was way down on that. Anything in the 90s is good. In the last 3 or 4 frames, I bet you it's much higher. This is an awkward one, queuing over a red. And getting position
20.
tough, but at the moment, you feel that everything is going for Selby. And Steve Maguire is going to do very well to win this frame. Selby won't mind if it gets a little bit tactical, because you've got that string to his bow as well.
Bramble.
And, Selby won't be keeping many balls out in the open. I think it's this brown's going on the side cushion. Just a 27-point lead, but it's awfully
Mark Selby 20.
more when you've got lots of safe balls around the table. So this is the other side of the Selby game. Apart from the 3 centuries he's made, tactically very good.
I think Selby's safety and tactical game is as good as anybody's, and it's relentlessly applied.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, he enjoys playing the safety, he enjoys being involved in the tactical side. Some players do it reluctantly. And the all-time great Stephen Hendry, I don't think he enjoyed playing safe. Just wanted to pot all the balls all day, didn't he?
Yes. Hendry once said that if he'd won more scrappy frames, he would have won even more titles, and I think that's true. With chances coming along for Maguire so infrequently, it doesn't make them look any easier when you do have one.
No, something's got to really turn around, I think. We thought the game could go close, and for a long time it seemed that way, but just I think that last break of 117 from Selby kind of turned this match right away from Maguire.
One.
Still got a bit of work to do though. He's got a lead of 28, which will be 33 once he pots the blue. And he'll want 3 of these reds, and only 2 are potable at this stage. So there is a bit of work still to be done. It'll be all right, a bit closer to the red than he wanted.
6. Seven.
This is where things start to become a little bit more tricky. The next red, if he plays the one down the cushion, bottom cushion, getting onto a colour from it will not be straightforward. Don't think he'll play to knock the red and the black out here. Doesn't see the need to, but it's just where it goes from here. Lead of 39. And he's found himself with an angle on this red.
12.
Very handy. 59 remaining, becomes 51 available once his red is potted, so time is running out for Maguire. Just get the feeling now, the way that he's been playing the last hour or so, that when he comes to the table with a chance, there aren't going to be many balls left when he's finished.
Didn't catch it quite right.
18.
Yeah, and if he'd have got into it a bit more, the red would have gone over the left-hand pocket. Now, the red that he's close to, if it goes in, it's effectively match ball. I don't know whether he'll play it for sure. He doesn't have to play on a colour, that's the only good thing about it. So he might just take this red on with no intent on being on anything. And that would mean that Maguire wanted a snooker. He's not got it though. The match is still alive.
Mark
Only
Selby,
just.
18.
Stephen Maguire just had a little look to see how he was in it. He knows that should he ever get a chance to get back into this match, he needs to take fairly high value colours. Doesn't really want to push all the reds to the other end of the table. I think that's why he's considering getting this one back down to the black end. Pretty certain he never went for the pot there. It's quite a good shot actually. That's a really good shot. Now, Mark Selby can... I don't know if he can get through that gap. Collier's taking an interest in that little gap there. But he can get to the red by the black. He didn't really want to play that one. He doesn't want to free the black, so he's playing as if snookered. Doesn't want to move that red next to the black.
Well, that's brought the brown into play, which is in Maguire's interest as long as Selby doesn't pot the next red.
Yeah, it's another narrow one. I think he's on. If the cue ball was right behind it, I think he wouldn't miss it, but we'll take a good shot from there. Wow, what a shot. Well, that's it. And he looks up to where his wife Vicky is in the audience, and he's very pleased with that. And I think he's played beautifully in the last few frames here.
6.
Selby has shown us high quality break making, including 3 centuries. He's shown us a relentless tactical
Mark
and
Selby,
safety
6,
game.
frame on the match.
And because of that, from 3-2 down, he has beaten Stephen Maguire by 6 frames to 3 to qualify for Saturday's semi-finals.